This happened in June 2012. Before this happened, I used to be a ghost, always have a sense of awe. I can't say cruel, because after all, I have never encountered anything like this. Afraid of ghosts as a child. It's because I'm young and I'm always thinking. Afraid of ghosts as a teenager. It's because of watching a horror movie. After the age of 18, I am curious about various religions. After going to college, I was brainwashed by my neighbor's aunt. I will often go to the Pinyin Bridge Tianju Church in Chengdu. I can't say worship or confession, just out of sheer curiosity to visit. And I started getting interested in Tibetan Buddhism again. Into 008, before all kinds of beeswax stars and moons were popular. It is often on the Tibetan street opposite Wuhu Temple. I bought all kinds of beads and came back to string them. To put it bluntly, I was totally in awe of ghosts and gods, curiosity and ignorance. After graduating from college, I worked in Chongqing. I have always been on a business trip in the main city of Chongqing and Dianjiang district. After the work of running between the two places is done, I've been in the office with nothing to do. Stayed for about a week. One day, the head of the company called out to me. Let's go on a business trip to Dianjiang County, Chongqing City, because the company has an office in Dianjiang. Just rented a staff dormitory over there for long-term residents. Me and the leader. The hotel you live in is close to the staff dormitory. I made an appointment with the local person in charge. We had lunch together. The staff dormitory is located in a residential area. The community is basically all 6 floors. It looks like the houses are brand new. It took about 5 or 6 years. I just stepped into the staff dormitory. I smelled something in the house. Unspeakable odor. It's that pungent smell, but the smell is not very strong. I didn't really care. After eating, I visited one in the house. Down below is a 3-bedroom house. The area is about 100 square meters. On the left-hand side of the door is the kitchen and a large balcony. On the right is the living room, directly opposite the corridor. On either side of the hallway are bedrooms. 2 bedrooms with household items and bedding. The hallway faces the toilet. Behind the TV cabinet in the living room is a decorative wall. There are latticework shelves on the wall for decorations. There is a Buddha statue on it. This Buddha statue should be a statue of the Leshan giant Buddha. At that time, it was estimated that it should be when the landlord visited Leshan. Souvenirs brought back. The Buddha caught my attention because his eyes are crooked. Looks incongruous. The workmanship is also relatively rough. I thought it looked weird. There is an indescribable evil. Then I didn't watch much. Chatting with 2 colleagues in the living room. The supplies in the house are cruel. I just asked how much the rent for this house is a month. The person in charge told me. The rent for this house, at that time, cheaper than the surrounding. The furniture and appliances in the house are also relatively complete. When I first came, the house looks. It seems that no one has lived there for a while. I stayed with the leader in the dormitory all day afternoon. Back to the hotel. Finished the work the next day. Returned to the main city of Chongqing. After a week, the leader informed me to go to Dianjiang on a business trip. It is estimated that it will take about a month. But since Dianjiang dormitory has 3 bedrooms, but only 2 bedrooms have bedding, and they're all occupied. So you can stay at the hotel for reimbursement. I figured it out then. Just live in the dormitory over there. Sleep on the sofa for a few days. Then buy a rollaway bed and live in the vacant bedroom. Then go outside and find some accommodation invoices. Take it back for reimbursement. At that time, the leader gave me a call. It's with the person in charge. The phone number of Z Wang, another colleague of Jiang's. The director said that Z Wang was a new colleague. I just arrived at the company and don't know anything. The person in charge usually goes out during the day. Z Wang should be in the dormitory. After arriving, you can go directly to the dormitory to find him. Go back and pack your bags. The next morning, I bought a bus ticket and went to Dianjiang. Take a taxi to the downstairs of the community. I forgot which building the dormitory is in. I had to call Z Wang and ask him to pick me up next. I have never seen Z Wang before. He arrived at the gate of the community. I looked like a strong man over to 100 caddies. Chatted for a while. He helped me with my suitcase. I went upstairs with my computer bag on my back. Through this moment of contact, I feel like this guy. It's a little friend who likes me. When you arrive at the dormitory, you are like your boss. As soon as you step into the dormitory, you feel uncomfortable. Can't tell why. I don't think I'm psychic. But this time, really. Maybe he sensed something. Leave your luggage in the dormitory. Chatted with Z Wang for a while. I went out in the afternoon to deal with the follow-up work. At night, I am with the person in charge and Z Wang. I ate at a food stall outside the community. The main city of Chongqing is a big furnace. Although places like Dianjiang belong to the curve. But as long as it's still hot in May. When we eat, everyone drank a few beers. All three had a great time chatting. But because there is work the next day, I went back without drinking too much. I went back to the dormitory and worked overtime until midnight. I have been teaching Ziwang to check the production drawings. Time for bed. 2 bedrooms. The 2 of them have a room each, although they will definitely let me live there. But I can't be overwhelming. I took a blanket, made a temporary sleeping spot on the sofa. The first night I slept here, and the only night he fell asleep peacefully. The next day I got up. Start early and go about your work. My workplace is in Dianjiang City. The person in charge and Z Wang are going to Pad, a business trip to another place outside the river. He shouldn't be back that night. Before they left, they gave me the dormitory key. Let me sleep in the bedroom inside for the night. Been busy all morning. It was lunch. Nothing much in the afternoon. I'm going back to the dormitory to rest. I took the key that Z Wang left for me and walked to the community. This key has a yellow paint spot on it. Go to the 4th floor, take the key, and face it inside. If you plug it in, it is as smooth as a normal key lock, but it just wouldn't move, and it's not moving at all. I went back from dinner last night. I opened the door with this key. I was the last one out in the morning. No locked door. Zhao Li said it wouldn't be like this. Took a long time. 34 or 5 degrees in summer. Although it is not very hot in the corridor. I was still sweating because there is a file that has to be passed on to someone else using a computer. The other party is anxious, and the luggage ropes are all in the house. It's impossible not to go in. I called the person in charge and Z Wang. I made a few calls and no one answered. No way. I just want this little place. Maybe the neighborhood is good. I'll ask the neighbors here. Do you have the phone number of the landlord of this house? This building has 2 households on 1 ladder. No one lives in the house opposite. It's empty. I'll go directly above the house. The one upstairs, go knock on the door. The door was opened by a middle-aged aunt. I said I live downstairs. The door is locked. Ask him if he knows the phone number of the landlord at 401. And he said no. And you look a little bit impatient. It looks like it's about to close. I asked him again if he knew where the landlord lived. And he had a look on his face. Said a word. I didn't understand for a long time. Why did he say that? He said the landlord is in another world. And I remember looking at him. I find this sentence strange. And he didn't say anything. The half smile on his face is very strange. I quickly said a word to disturb and went downstairs. After going downstairs, I continued to call the person in charge. And one of the things that was going through my head was this. What did the aunt mean by that? And that weird expression. In fact, at this time, I already feel a little weird. Last time I came, and this time I came here. Have met the neighbors who live in this building. Almost every one of them will use very much strange stares at us. Not just in the building. Even if you encounter it in the community, it is the same. I finally answered the call to the person in charge later. I asked him if he had the landlord's phone number. I can't open the door here. I went to ask the landlord if there is a spare key. He said he didn't have his landlady's number on deposit. There is a phone number on the rental contract, but the contract is in the house. There is no way. The locksmith in the hallway finally came in handy. I found anyone and called to negotiate the price. The locksmith comes every 20 minutes. Told him the situation, and a neighbor came down from upstairs, also a middle-aged aunt. This time, I'm still thinking. The aunt upstairs said something weird. So I said hi. Ask the landlord if you know where he is. He rolled his eyes and glared at me. Ignore me? I see he's gone downstairs. I stopped asking. Then he came up again and asked what was going on here. Why unlock? I said the door wouldn't open. Then he asked again. I went upstairs just now. I wanted to find out where the landlord lived. As a result, people followed me. The landlord is in another world. Do you know what it means? Andy was silent at first, then suddenly said, forget it. I can't tell you. I can't tell you. I immediately reacted. Ask him if anyone has died here. He didn't say a word. And the answer is yes. I'm getting goosebumps right now. And the locksmith turns around. Talk to this neighbor, Aunt. Is that what happened when I lived here before? Auntie nodded and hurried downstairs. Which one is mine? My heart has already started to hair this time. The lockpicker will understand what's going on. It means that what happened here is not small. And one thing is for sure. People did die here. This time, the lockpicker has opened the door. Ask me if I can change this lock. The master used a plastic sheet to insert into the crack of the door, bounce the lock tongue open, and open the door like this. No damage to the structure of the lock. I thought I might have to change it. It can't be opened anymore. Maybe it's blocked somewhere in the lock. But I still put the key in. I tried it. Is there any problem? Everything is fine. I closed the door again and tried it was still fine. And threw the door open. Still normal. What's going on in my heart again? This door is playing with me. Forget it. Just open it. I will settle the money for the master to open the lock first. Hurry up and stuff another pack of cigarettes. Ask him what's the matter. What the hell happened here? He laughed and said forget it. You'd better not know. Otherwise, you won't dare to live. I was taken aback again. What is it? I quickly stuffed another pack of cigarettes. This time, the master finally said. The master said, what happened in this room before? It made a sensation. The original occupant here was the landlord, a family of 3 children studying abroad. I usually live with my husband and wife. It is said that they are very close. They all work in public institutions. But one day at noon, it's like these 2 couples are possessed by evil, suddenly slashing each other with knives. Then the man hacked the woman to death. The head is about to be chopped off. Then the man stabbed himself to death. A few days later, it's time to pay for the children's living expenses. But the kid didn't receive the money. I called my parents and no one answered. Just call Grandma. Grandma also thinks it's strange. Why can't I contact my daughter and son-in-law? So came over with a spare key. I fainted as soon as I opened the door. The whole living room is like a sea of blood. Then the police came. There were a lot of police. The whole street is blocked. People who came to watch the fun surrounded a sea of people, full of water. After listening to the master's explanation, I was so shocked I couldn't close my mouth. I glanced back at the living room of the house. God, I actually slept in a place like this all night. Go up and still live here. To be honest, when the locksmith left, I went to pack my things. I left here with him. But then I had a thought. It's been so long. Other colleagues live here very well. Will something weird happen when I live here? What are you afraid of? Besides, what era are you still superstitious about this? Just scare yourself. But then something happened. Make my intestines regret it. He was in a trance even for the next few months. Sluggish. Sent away the lockpicker. I started these grueling hours inside. No, what happened here? It's actually sitting. It's not standing. It's not sitting. My heart is constantly encouraging myself. Afternoon is fine during the day. When working with the computer on, the time passed quickly without thinking too much. Besides, outside the living room balcony, and the noise of people coming and going in the street downstairs. I had some snacks in the house for dinner. Didn't go downstairs for dinner. By about 8 o'clock, it was already dark. This time because of the light. There is no noise outside, and the room was silent. I started thinking about what happened today again. I suddenly felt a little creepy. It's like 2 little people are arguing in my head. One is saying, I'm scared. This is definitely not a coincidence. How can you let me know what's going on here? I have to get out of this place quickly. Another voice is talking about the past. Afraid of hair? No one has seen ghosts. What's there to live here? It's rare to be afraid of this. And then I did a really nasty thing. It's really cheap to remember. I turn on the computer. Follow the keywords. Ghost. Bad search for what happened here. I want to see if I can find some news. I really found it. It's not just coverage. It's video. Click in to have a look. It's a video of the police investigating and reporting the case at that time. It should be the news broadcast by the local station at that time. But I don't know who recorded it with their mobile phone. Put it online. Watch the video. Goosebumps on me. Layer after layer. The furnishings of the living room in the video. It's exactly the same as now. There's no difference whatsoever. Furniture and appliances have not been changed. The floor is clean in the video. It should be to avoid excessive visual impact. It was cleaned up. The body should also have been transported away. The video starts showing the scene in the bedroom again. Oh my God, the bed is still to beds stuck in the room. Just a bed into rooms, just swapped. At that time, the feeling is already completely about to collapse. This house should be handled simply. It was rented out again. I'll turn on my phone right now, talk to the person in charge, and Z Wang recounts what I saw and heard here today. The person in charge and Z Wang were also frightened, suggested that I go out and find a hotel to stay. I actually teased them. What's there to be afraid of? I'm not afraid of this as a big man. I really can't live there. I'll go out again. In fact, I'm already sitting on the sofa. Don't dare to move. I can't help but look around the room. I'm sitting with my back to it. Sliding door on living room balcony. The curtains on the living room balcony are drawn. That's the air conditioner on the right. In front of you is the computer on the coffee table. On the right-hand side is the couch that you slept in the day before. Opposite is the dining room and kitchen. The sliding door in the kitchen is closed. To the left of the kitchen door is the main door. On the right is the corridor leading to the room and the toilet. I also closed the toilet and room doors. I wanted to force overtime to do something, but my heart is really hairy. I quickly found someone I knew before on my phone. Tantra Buddies. Remind him of what happened that day. He told me after listening, the door won't open because something doesn't want you in. There's something about you they don't want to see. I said no. He asked me where I was going to stay. I said I don't know. He told me it shouldn't be a big problem, but you can put some scriptures that read beyond the dead. It will be better. And he sent me a couple of scripture tapes. I quickly put it on the computer. I know what's going on. In fact, it has broken the previous 3 views to say that it was the fear of ghosts and gods before. Words of ignorance and curiosity. Now this scene, it's really about validating the world. What is it like when? It depends on yourself to the end. Could it be because of this place? What science can you see? Unexplainable things. At this time, there is no noise outside. It was quiet, except for the sound from the air conditioner vents. It's the Buddhist scriptures playing on the computer. The lights in the room are all turned on. It's still dark. I sat alone and didn't dare to move. Only dared to look at the computer screen. I think back to the eyes of my neighbors over and over again. The avoidance of the locksmith and the furnishings of the house in the video. I have to admire myself at that time. If you put it on yourself now, must have run away with ducks. I can't believe it's still there. Before I knew it, it was 12 midnight. I smoked one cigarette after another. They use the loudest sound the ear can handle. I can start to think about other things. Thinking in my heart, when I go to bed later, no matter what, you can't sleep too much. Hey, don't say it. I was so big. When are you still thinking about sleeping? But just then, strange noises came from down the corridor. I thought it was a hallucination, but it's getting big again. Or is the sound of the sutra played on the computer first? Turned down a bit, staring at the hallway. Listen carefully with pricked ears. It sounds like a man snoring. Yes, it's definitely a grunt. And it came from the room where Z Wang slept. My brain is numb. Dole bands sweat. One by one, they slid down from the forehead. Is today an illusion? Is Z Wang still sleeping in that room? Get out of here. I'm ready for this. If something shows up, I'll fight. But it's important to escape first. I've been practicing running over and over again in my heart. The way out. From the gate or from the balcony, I went to my heart and wondered if I could make some sound myself. Will it be fine if you suppress this sound? I turn up the computer sound to the maximum. It seems a little better, but I can still vaguely hear a voice. I stand up and plug in the TV on the right. Press the TV to turn on. Hurry up and find any central station. Turn up the sound to the maximum. I really can't seem to hear any other sounds when there is no one in the house. TV can really embolden people. Whether it's TV or news or something, there's always someone talking in there. You will feel that you are not alone. Otherwise, I really feel like myself. In this house, it's like being on an island. Time goes by minute. In the blink of an eye, it was 1 a.m. There's a closed sliding door in the kitchen. Suddenly, it made the sound of bang, bang, bang. It's like something is beating on purpose. Kitchen door. It can't be blown by the wind. The kitchen behind the sliding door. No wind at all. And I was sitting right next to the balcony. I didn't hear the sound of the wind. I felt like I was almost done. I think I can't do it again. I'm going to run. The sound suddenly stopped. Then help. I can't take it anymore. Immediately grab the computer and stuff it into a backpack cup. Then he dragged his suitcase and rushed to the door. The moment the door opened, in the kitchen on the right, it's coming again like something, scratching on a smooth metal surface. Zyla sound. I'm about to faint from the fright. When I opened the door, a thought suddenly popped into my mind. Will the door not open? I pressed the handle. Fortunately, the door opened easily. I grabbed my suitcase and rushed down. At the moment of rushing to the gate of the community, I think I escaped. I dare not look back at the community again. Carrying a suitcase, just go directly to the last business trip. Run to the hotel where you stayed. The boss has closed the door. I knocked on the door. The lady boss still knows me. Did I get from Chongqing to Dianjiang so late? I haven't calmed down yet. The speed of speech and logic are very messy. So I told him today what the sky sees and hears, and what just happened in that house. The lady boss and the boss's mouths are wide open. Eyes are about to bulge, and they were horrified. I was also scared. They told me what happened in this house. The locals know it all. We all know where it happened. Neither did any. What local would rent that house? That house now is the original. It was rented by the elders of the couple who had the accident. Rents are much lower than elsewhere. It is said that the previous house, it was rented to an out-of-towner who was doing business. The business person was doing well, but not long after living there, you lose money, and they moved away. Then it should be you who come to live. The hotel owner brought me a beer to crush me. I told them again, and I went to sleep. It's been tossed until around 2:30. Sangwon Jinhui was frightened. Sleep fast. I didn't have nightmares. Maybe it's because it's a safe place. And I didn't wake up the next day. The person in charge called me and asked where I was. I said I was at the hotel. Let them come to me. Don't go to that house yet. After he comes, I told them last night everything that happens. The faces of the two were frightened when they heard it. And then they said something else. The thing that scares me even more. The person in charge said that the TV in the house, Zi Wang and I have never been able to open it. At the same time, Zi Wang also said something. He said he had one night around 1 p.m. come back from outside. When entering the corridor, I once saw a long-haired woman in a white dress standing on the balcony of the house on the right. He wouldn't budge. I thought it was a girl. He also said that he would pick up a girl another day. But then I found out that family, no young woman has ever lived there. It was an elderly couple who lived there. So who is this woman in white? 3 people are creepy. When leaving the hotel, the boss told us at 3, go to the dormitory to get your things and leave quickly. Never look back when you come to the dormitory again. I stood at the door and didn't dare to go in. When the 2 of them entered the house, they saw that the air conditioner was on. TV has no image. The person in charge finds the contract. Tell the landlord to check out immediately. I thought the contract would not expire. The landlord will definitely not agree to check out. But I didn't expect the other party to agree very readily. After that, the two packed their luggage hastily. Come out quickly. After coming out, we followed the instructions of the hotel owner. No one looked back. This is the end of it. I've been fake for a few months. After 3 years, I look back on this. There are a lot of things that feel strange. First, why can't the door that was good at that time be opened? It's the stuff inside that doesn't want me in. Or what? The second is the Buddhist scriptures I had in the house at that time. Or made sound. Did you stimulate something? Third, why is something not showing up? It's just purring and knocking and scratching. Fourth, there have been abnormal deaths. Or in a house where he died miserably. There is a ghost. Or is it a reflection of the images before they were alive? Fifth, why did the person in charge and Zi Wang live here before? Nothing happened. That's what happened to me. Sixth, why did I first come to this house? You will feel a fishy smell, but they can't feel it. Number 7, something makes a sound that scares me. Are you warning me? Or what are you doing? The woman in white seen by colleague Zi Wang. What's going on? I've told a lot of my friends about this, but they're not particularly detailed. Write this out. I thought about it for a long time. I want to describe it as clearly as possible. Bring back what you really felt at that time. It was a profound experience. The only time. I hope this is the last time I encounter this kind of thing. And rest in peace.